And welcome to another episode of The Sky's the Limit. I'm KAMC forecaster Larry Rodriguez, and I'm once again joined with Chief Meteorologist Ron Roberts.
Hey, Larry. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Very well, thanks. And a beautiful day today.
Yes.
I mean, God's country weather. I'm just saying. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. So we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to that changing season. We're going into the fall and then later on into the winter. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I guess I'll introduce myself since I am one of the newest members of the KAMC weather team. I work in the newsroom also as a photographer, photojournalist. So I go and get video out in the city of Lubbock and the surrounding counties. But I've had a passion for weather for the longest time since I was a little kid, and it is finally a dream come true to be able to say that I am a KAMC forecaster.
Well, I'm happy to have you.
Yes.
But one of the things that really connected Larry and I was just a couple of years ago, and it was called the Levelland tornado. Even though it was not officially designated, you might want to go through some of this too. When we got into Levelland, it sure didn't look like a dry or a significant microburst. It looked like something else had hit.
Yes, it did.
You remember the McDonald's sign?
Yes, I did. And I even, the little blades of grass I saw, they were twisted and turned around a little bit. So there was a lot more going on than just a straight line wind there.
Yeah, there's something happened there. And of course, there was a golf ball up to baseball-sized hail, and it hit some of the more areas of the city where there's new development, new homes. So that was a tough event for Levelland, but I'm proud to say that a lot of my friends there, DMOC and others in Levelland, they came back. That's amazing.
Yes, they did. And that's just the West Texas spirit.
It is. I mean, again, I'm so old. You're supposed to say, how old
No,
are you?
you're not old.
All right. So the thing, right? No, but in 1970, things happen in your life. I was 12 years old. Things happen in your life that put your life on a train track.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1970, Lubbock tornado that destroyed 25% of the city. And the reality is I was able to go down the next day because my dad worked downtown. And what do I see? All kinds of things, including a straw stuck into a wooden telephone pole.
Wow.
I couldn't figure that one out until I got into the physics department at Texas Tech and realized that the pole was being twisted and things were going into it. That's how powerful that storm was. Well, Levelland reminded me of some of that. Remember the McDonald's sign?
Yes, I do. I remember that. And every meteorologist, every forecaster has that one story that put them into the weather. For me, it was the Gerald 1997 tornado. I wasn't in it, but I was close to it. Man. I just remember everything that happened after that. But on a lighter note, we're going to talk about fall, and that we're going to the changing season of fall. It is still September, but we're technically in summer still, except for the exception of meteorological fall. We are in meteorological fall as of the beginning of September. It starts every year on September 1st, and it lasts for September, October, and November. And that is when it starts to, quotation marks, feel like fall.
Well, and I think for Lubbock, that is a better fit because,
Yeah.
I mean, the meteorological, yes, that makes more sense in our climate because we have had a freeze as early as the beginning of September.
Yes, we have.
And then we've had, even, shall I say, the S word?
No, you shouldn't say that right now.
I should not say it. But nevertheless, those are the kind of things that can happen early, too, in our climate. On the other side, we've been into severe droughts. And so, to me, especially September is that, I believe, strong, it gives us strong indications in September what might be happening in October, November, and December. And I'll give you, because we're going to do this at the end of the show, but I'm going to give you my forecast for the rest of the fall. And I have a strong opinion on what's going to happen. A scientific
Oh, of course. Scientific, of course. And so first day of fall is September the 22nd, which is Monday, September the 22nd, and it will end on the 20th. But again, I think that meteorological fall is more suited for, like you said, Lubbock, because September, it usually starts to feel a little bit cooler, and then by November, also it's starting to feel cooler.
Yeah, even when you cut the Gulf of Mexico off and you don't have the humidity, because it's about maybe 3.5, 4 months of humidity of West Texas. That's why we're semi-arid. And some days, some years, we're arid, semi-arid. So this is a climate that is all over the place. And how ag producers do so well here is because of their geniuses, the way they can make a cotton crop. So it's an interesting climate for sure. And this year, there's been something down in the Baja area, and I call it the blob. I don't know how that area of warm water is up off the side of the Baja, but it's been there for almost 6, 7 months.
Yeah, it doesn't want to move at all.
And as if you get any disturbance or trough go that far south, it picks up some of that moisture, brings it over here, and instead of us getting an average rain of 0.25, we get 0.55. So our precipitable water values have been a little higher even during the summer. Now, I can see now that we're losing some of that connection on satellite images. We'll see what will happen. But I think precipitation seasons may be going now on the negative side.
Yes, we will. And of course, comes with the fall, the changing of not only the precipitation, but the temperatures. And we are getting pretty close to when we will see our first freeze.
Oh, you said it.
I put it out there. I put it out there.
Yeah.
Yep, and right there, the average freeze in Lubbock is around Halloween, so the 30th to the 31st.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you've researched, and of course, we sometimes get a freeze much earlier than that, and sometimes we get a freeze much later than that too.
Yes.
But nevertheless, that's a good average.
Yes, that is a good average, and we've even seen some snow that early.
Oh,
I said it.
He said the S word here on this podcast, and we have had some early. The one I remember was 1977. I was a freshman I was a freshman going into my sophomore year at Texas Tech. Texas Tech had this great football team in that year, and it snowed, and it was in October, and they called it the snowball game. So this is the craziness of living in this region, and to see things that you didn't think would happen.
Now that sounds a lot more fun than that last rain delay that they had with that supercell that went over Texas Tech.
Look at this. How about this year,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I mean, we have a flying saucer, natural flying saucer,
Yes.
over the stadium, and then we just get it. I mean, we just... And so this last game, it was actually, shall I say, normal?
Yeah, some just good old-fashioned rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little lightning delay, but hey.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting climate so far. But I think, again, and we'll talk more about our forecast, but I think what we're doing is seeing the transition to a drier weather pattern.
Yes, we are, and we'll talk more about what's coming up this fall after this break.
All right, so Larry, again, this year, what are we looking at as far as our average? Are we having an average freeze, or what do you think?
I mean, nothing has been average for this year so far, so I'm thinking an average freeze, at least maybe early November.
Yeah, I mean, the average first freeze, and you gave this October
Yes.
30 through 31 and that looks possible just because of the weirdness of this
Yes.
year for sure. But I'm with you. I think we're going to continue to transition to drier weather conditions. So we're going to get closer to a freeze, but that killer freeze that ag producers want may be a little bit past the 31st and into November.
Yeah, I want that freeze too because the mosquitoes are out of control.
Oh, they've been that way. And it's just a year where we get all or nothing. I cannot get past the tornado in June.
Yes, that was
That we were
Something.
getting heavy rain, twice the precipitable water values, or in other words, twice as much precipitation as you would expect for that time of the year. And we have a tornado, we have flooding. Every year, I think we've had almost everything this year.
yes, we've had, and it's only September.
Yeah, it does.
So there's more to come if you look at it that way.
Yeah, but if we have a typical fall season, then we would expect that temperatures are going to be cooler. What is happening as far as the snow events coming earlier is somewhat whether you believe in human-made climate change or climate change is not natural. I believe there's a little bit of a combo of both that we humans and our natural system is never. We have to remember these are averages you were putting up.
Yes, they are.
They're not actuals. And so when we sometimes say, well, our average is October 31st, and then we are November 15th, and we still haven't had, our first freeze officially at Preston Smith International Airport.
And the latest freeze that Lepic has ever seen is November the 23rd.
That's right.
So
So those are just numbers that you kind of pinpoint. But I've come to the conclusion with the white hair and thinning a little bit on top is that you can't say in West Texas climate. I saw that. But I think what we're seeing in our region is just a little bit of our averages are being a little bit more extreme, things like that. Whether it be natural, whether it be unnatural, whether it be human-induced, whether it be not human-induced, but just the way our planet is doing. But that's what makes it so neat.
yes, it does. And if we take a look at our temperature outlook for the next 8 to 14 days, we can see the above average temperatures right there.
And, these are getting better. The Climate Prediction Center is improving. And the reason why it's improving its forecast is because we have more data points. We have more data information to go into the big blue computer. We are still, the National Weather Service still has a little slice of the big blue that they call. And so with that computer system has helped us, I think, improve our forecast. So this past year, when you look at the validation numbers, and that's what I kind of do at the end of the night, about 11:30, I will get to my little book like this, and then I will say what the actuals were and say, wow, validated. So the forecast, even though it's been a difficult year, forecasts have been falling within the range of probability.
Yeah, they have. And even with the temperatures, though, it's been pretty average as we go into that because we did have a much cooler summer than what we normally do have. We
Yes.
had a few 100-degree days, but
Yes.
the temperatures were pretty mild in terms of the heat that we could have seen.
Yeah, and I think because of the heavy precipitation that happened in May, but then happened in June, what it does is it makes the soil base a little bit more moist, okay? And so you've got moisture coming from the bottom up, and you have moisture in the atmosphere, and it tends to temper versus the dry years where you don't like that dry west wind, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I
mean,
do.
that's what's not good. It's not good.
No, it's not. And it's been feeling a little bit tropical this summer also with that tropical moisture that's come in. The humidity has certainly changed the feel of things a little bit.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And tropical is a good way to talk about that. But at the same time, look at this. We're average in precipitation, average on temperature. So we would think that we're going to really be going into October maybe about 4 or 5 degrees above the average daily high temperature.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is trying to tell us. It's also telling us that our precipitation above average chance is now going away. We'll be an average in a country for a while, which has been a while since we've been average.
And speaking of average, we got to get through the fair because, you know, the rain always comes when the fair comes. So that's pretty average, too. We got to get through that, and then we'll be to the average precipitation.
Sure. We'll do the forecast on the Friday and say, hey, the weather is going to be great for the fair. And then Tuesday, a thunderstorm is going to hit, and the rain's about 5,500 of an inch, and everything is, you know, and I've been there. But I think at this point, we're beginning to go to more and more days. We're getting less solar input, so days where precipitation chances are going to be decreasing.
And in my opinion, this is the best time of year because this is when the temperatures start to change and it gets cooler, and then we start to see a little bit more of a, I guess, calming of the atmosphere.
It is very nice.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
But no, it's not my favorite one. I like the severe.
I said it's my opinion, Ron.
Good. I like April and give me May and give me June. Let's go for severe weather. I know. I'm running for the hills, Ron, and I accept it.
Hey, be proud of it, I guess, right?
Yeah, because they're going to call it anyway. So I'm just going to go in and take it and run with it. But
There you go.
Run for the Hills. My favorite one, though, is not that.
Which one is it?
Mr. Wrong Roberts.
Ah.
I was at a business meeting, and this guy comes up to me, and he was from a smaller community.
Uh-huh.
He said, "Hey, I want to shake your hand." I said, "Well, sure, we'll shake your hand." You know what we call you in our town? I said, "No, Mr. Wrong Roberts." I really liked it. It was funny. I mean, that was pretty good.
That is pretty good. If you,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You should get that on a shirt or something somewhere.
Can you do that?
Maybe on a business card or something.
You can do.
We got people. We can make that happen.
Well, we got the promotion guy here, Mr. Robert.
Yeah, we can make that happen. But yes, this is it. We do have 2 times, and because this could also be a severe weather season because the temperatures are changing and everything's kind of going into that cooler zone. So we do have the summer, spring severe weather season, but we also can get the severe thunderstorms in September and maybe even early October.
Yeah, we can. It seems to be settling down right now, and we'll see if the jet stream is going to come far enough south to give us shear to get some strong thunderstorms. It's something we'll be keeping an eye on.
And we'll talk about that S word after this break.
What? Well, we're back talking about fall weather season, of course, on our podcast today. And
Oh, look at that. Mr. Wrong
Mr.
Roberts.
Did you do that?
I can't say I did, and I can't say I didn't.
Well, there's only 2 people who would do that, and I didn't do that, although I have been wrong.
We all are wrong. We're all human.
Yeah.
We're humans doing the forecasts, and things change day to day, even minute, hour by hour. So we do make mistakes.
We do. And this Mr. Wrong Roberts was just one guy came up to me one time and said, "You know what we call you at my house? Mr. Wrong Roberts." And he laughed and I laughed. And look, we know that we're going to miss some forecasts for sure. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, what we're trying to do is give you the best forecast as close to what we can do. And we have a big planet here, and there's a lot of subtle things that happen in our weather flows sometimes that catch us off guard. I recall a June tornado that hit Matador that about 2 or 3 years ago. Again, Matador has been hit by tornadoes just in my lifetime 3 times. What are the odds of that? And it's a little small community. What are the odds of that? There's got to be some geography that creates vorticity that helps that to happen. But so that it's interesting to me. The whole thing of weather is interesting to me.
It is, and it can humble you very quickly also. Because like you said, we do get things wrong, and it can humble you real quick, and you're thinking, oh, I thought I had it. I thought I knew what was going to happen, and it totally throws a curveball at you.
I think the public, for the most part, know that what we're giving them is the best that we have, and to be able to get a perfect forecast on a planet, the whole global scale, because what happens in the jungles of Vietnam influence what happens in the Middle East, and eventually Europe, and then eventually the U.S. And this is just a global science that we have to all work with. And sometimes, the forecast models nail it. Really,
Yeah, they do.
They really do. And then sometimes, it's really a bad forecast, and that's why I like Larry, because I say he did it.
Hey, I'll take the blame any day. But what we are going to try to do is forecast when we can see that favorite word of what everybody likes to hear, snow. The earliest measurable snow here in Lubbock at the airport has been in October 17th of 1999, so over 20 years. 25 years ago, 26 years ago.
26 years ago. I remember that because the National Weather Service actually had a forecast for wintry mix. And I thought, they're out of their mind. And then I started looking at our data that was coming in 1999. And I'm like, whoa. It was a dry snow. The temperature actually did not go below freezing until it started snowing.
Wow.
And that is something that happens out here is the snow it's cold up above, but at the surface we're in the mid-30s, and then suddenly it starts snowing, then at 35, 34, 32, there you go. You start getting it, the bigger flakes. It's crazy.
So it sounds like the complete opposite of what we saw in April.
Exactly.
Because that was a wet snow.
Yes, that was, and a good snow. Because we have phases like the El Nino. We didn't have an El Nino this year. We didn't have the La Nina because of La Nina. Bad. Right? We don't like that. We didn't have the Madden-Julian oscillation. We didn't have any oscillation of significance that was pushing on our climate. So this is one that we're going to really have to look at, and I'm sure the Climate Prediction Center folks, they're looking at this year and say, what happened?
Yep. And so going along with that, what do you think is going to happen this fall and into the winter?
I think we're transitioning to more of a dry phase. And this dry phase does not mean we're not going to get snow. What I'm concerned about is we're going to get more of that freezing drizzle stuff that creates black ice. Black ice is the worst.
Yes, it is.
I'd rather have 5 inches of snow than black ice. And I think we may have some of that this year. And then obviously for next year, when we look at our total precipitation this year, it came big chunks, but we really aren't anywhere near a record precipitation year, even with the big chunks. So, it's going to be difficult because I don't think we have any phase like La Nina or El Nino yet that's giving us a little direction on what's going on.
Yeah, so I mean that's something to look forward to, I guess, because again, things change as we go further into the season, and so that's what we're looking at right now. That's what the models are telling us. That's what the averages are telling us, but it could change because again, we got surprised in April when we had that snow. It wasn't supposed to, but it did.
It did,
and the earliest has been in October. It could snow. We've had another day of October the 21st, 1911. I'm sure none of us in this room were there that day, but it snowed 4 inches in October.
Right. I mean, again, there are just, especially at many people in Lubbock move to Lubbock, and they don't realize that Lubbock is 3,250 feet above sea level. That's at the courthouse, all right? You go into the western half of the metro, you're about 3,400 feet above sea level. Okay. Now, Houston, it's easy to forecast in Houston. I'm sorry, Houstonians. It's easy. You've got all the moisture. You're 50 feet above sea level, and it's easy. Austin's a little easier. I was in Austin for a while. It's a little easier. It's a little easier. I didn't say totally.
No, it's not. I'm from the Austin area, and it can change also here. Yeah. And as my family likes to call that, I live up here in Lubbock, they like to call this the weird part of Texas, which is weird that they're calling that because Austin is keep Austin weird. But just because it snows here, they like to call this the weird part of Texas. But yes, it does snow in Lubbock and in Amarillo, the Panhandle.
But we are a 4-season
yes, we are
region. Some of our seasons sometimes are short.
Or all in 1 week.
All in 1 week. We've done that. But, we also, if we go west of Lubbock, 170 miles, there is a 12,000-foot mountain, Sierra Blanca. Mm-hmm. We have the Capitan Mountains, so they're in that area too. You go northern New Mexico, you're at 14,000 feet. So elevation is the key. And we'll talk more about that sometime.
Yeah, we will. And thanks for joining us for our second episode of The Sky's the Limit. We'll have more on the next one. See y'all later.
Bye.